I'm recording. You guys?
I'm recording.
Is that a yes?
Logan's having
I'm slurping my drink.
I'm slurping my nurple.
I'm slurping Nate's mom.
No! You leave my mom out of this!
Dude, cut that.
Dude, I nearly spit my fucking drink all over my laptop. Jesus Christ.
I just did.
It's gonna be a very uncomfortable car ride with his mom to the wherever this annex shit is.
Oh,
where
yeah.
This play is being at.
You're getting
Get
annexed.
it from the bed.
Sweet slurping mom.
That was very off, I think.
What?
That clap.
Oh, the clap. Oh,
I'll go ahead and get into the intro, so everyone just be quiet for just a second.
The clap is very inconsistent.
That's why they called it gonorrhea afterwards.
Damn it. Alright.
Can that be in the intro?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bloomfeld podcast. This is the podcast about nothing, but also sometimes something.
No,
So say
never
hello,
something.
my permanent guests.
We are co-hosts.
Very well said, temporary host.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Your time is limited.
Say your names,
I'm-
because I didn't do it this time.
Oh, I'm Logan the Kid. You can find me on twitch.tv.
Damn it, not this
Logan the
again.
Kid. That's me. That's me. I'm Logan. Hi.
I'm Tafcad, which is short for the artist formerly known as Dylan.
What the fuck?
No, it's not. You made that up.
Yeah, you're just a lying sack of shit.
Yeah, well, so are you, and I fucked your mom.
Hey, come on, man. That's not cool.
Yo.
That's not cool. I might have to censor that, actually, because you can't say super explicit language like the first minute of a YouTube video or something like that.
Fuck you, Susan
Wait,
Wojcicki.
I don't know. It's
What?
something I've seen. Like, people censor the first, like, minute or so of videos so it's more monetizer friendly or whatever. So
It's
people...
cause Susan Wojak is a fucking asshole.
Man, I wish I knew that before I uploaded Donkey Kong Country Part 2.
Oh, yeah. We... Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay, I think so. Yeah, we fucked that shit up.
What?
we fucked that shit up.
What do you mean what? Fucked what?
I mean, just uploading the part with the fuck and the fuck.
Oh. I
You'll
thought you was
live.
like, the pod is dead. I was like, oh.
No,
fuck,
no, we're
gotta
fine.
do
We're
the
still
intro
rolling.
again.
You guys are flying under Susan Wojak's radar for now. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So, how's everybody doing?
Oh, I thought that was my limit, but I'm doing good.
Well, you didn't do it.
Well,
I
maybe,
was-
maybe
I
if
was
you would
gonna-
show up to your own pod on time.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck
I
up.
feel like I'm really getting a hold of the reins here when it comes to leading this podcast.
I mean, yeah.
Hostile takeover.
All right. How was your week, Nathan?
Very tiring. A lot of work.
Yeah.
We were supposed to record last night, but we didn't. Okay, we kind of did, but you don't need to know about that. Shh, that's a secret for now.
Yeah, no, that recording is getting thrown in the fire.
Not
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Dylan. How was your week, Dylan?
Mine was alright. It was definitely not nearly as bad as you two's. Wasn't super eventful besides a bizarre D&D session, but that's besides the point.
I built my first computer this past Friday. And
Oh,
I'm very
yeah.
proud of it.
Congratulations.
And I only broke one thing.
Nice.
Wait, what'd you break?
I broke the lockdown tab for the GPU's PCIe port, which doesn't actually matter because the thing locks in there anyway. So
Alright.
I swear, people are always like, oh, putting in the CPU is the most stressful part of a computer. For me, it was putting in the GPU, because I had to use more force than I think it would take to snap a baby's neck. Like, you have to jam that fucking thing in there.
Yeah, the
it
slam
wasn't
jam.
that bad. It wasn't that bad on the motherboard I was working with, because me and my best friend, the person I built the PC for, she and I got pretty similar parts. It's an Asus Prime, the Wi-Fi model, the B550 for those who are curious, and it required some force. But here was what's bullshit. Is that, I use PC Part Picker to pick out my parts, and, there wasn't really any incompatibility issues besides a quick BIOS update I needed for the GPU. But the kicker was snapping off the lockdown tab for the GPU slot. I had that thing unlocked. Like, it snaps to the right, so it's unlocked and you can pull it out. It still jerked the thing out of the socket. Like, what? So the GPU was a little too big, like, for the motherboard. Oops.
Oops.
I don't think that's ever I don't know. I'm sure plenty of computer junkies have had that happen before. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. But for my first build, I say I did okay. I also plugged in the power cables for the case in the wrong on the wrong pins, but that was an easy fix. But I had to take the GPU out like 3 times.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the wire management was ugly. It was ugly. So, yeah, that was fun. And I also popped my tire on the way home. So, the day ended horribly, if I'm being honest. Like, the whole wheel's ruined. The wheel was bent. I was getting off my exit. I was probably like 20 minutes from the house. And my front left just explodes. Like, while I'm coming off the exit ramp. I don't know what was that. I couldn't see anything. There were no cars around me. I must have either run over something or I hit a ginormous pothole, but the car made the loudest ba-boom sound I had ever heard a car hit. So it was a godly pothole if it was a pothole. And yeah, that was a stressful night. Thankfully, a cop showed up like 30 seconds afterward and helped me out. He was a really nice guy. Big car guy, so he'd clearly done this a million times.
And then he shot you in the head 50 times for having out-of-date registration.
Dang. I mean, does he even carry around that many 9mm?
I didn't pass the color check.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, no.
But other than that, the weekend was okay. It wasn't. I was slept a lot. I'm enjoying my spring break currently.
Yeah, I worked a lot this week, and I
took
was
like
very
a 3-hour
tired.
nap. Yeah, I took a 3-hour nap today.
Yeah, that's why I came in late. Well, there's a couple reasons, but one of the reasons I came in late was we were planning on recording at like 3. I woke up at like 3:20.
Bastard.
That'll do that.
And it's
then
5 o'clock at the moment of recording. A little bit past 5.
So a little late, but that's fine.
Nathan is
all day.
always late to his own goddamn podcast, and that's why me and Logan have to do a hostile takeover.
That's why I'm taking the reins, man. That's why I'm going to be the host now, and you're going to be the co-host, and Nathan's our temporary guest.
Temporary?
Very
temporary? Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Very,
I don't know how to break. I don't know how to
temporary.
break. We're going to Photoshop you out of the image.
Who are you going to replace me with?
Just another of me.
Sean Connery.
You're just going to have a conversation with another Dylan.
That would be dope
No.
if we did a seance and got Sean Connery's ghost on the podcast.
Sean Connery or Ro Jogan.
Rojogan. God, we need to
Maybe.
find someone out there that's genuinely named Rojogan and get that person on the podcast. That would be amazing.
Should I make that tweet you wanted me to make at Ro Jogan?
Gonna add Rojogan.
You told me to. It's in the drafts, Nathan. Like, it could be posted right this second. I don't
Oh
even
my
have to
god,
type.
it's in the drafts.
Do it.
It's in the drafts.
Do it.
Do it right now. Literally at this very
Alright.
second.
The audience will know when this was recorded then.
Yeah.
It's down to the very minute.
Yes, down
Yeah.
to the minute.
Just a second.
Alright, go ahead.
I keep forgetting that we have a Twitter, to be honest, because I have nothing to do with it.
Oh yeah, this will be the first official episode where we can plug it, though.
That's true.
Yes, so you can find that Twitter account at Bloomfeld Pod. It's just a picture of Nathan's face with a blue background. And the tweet will read, at Joe Rogan, guest host when? Question mark? Tweet.
Tweet.
That tweet has been sent. Mark the time, fellas. 5:15 p.m., March 14th, the day when crabs fries, 2022.
If we're gonna just at people who are way above our league to have as guests, I have like several suggestions actually for later on.
All of our Twitter's gonna be is just ads for people way out of our league.
Yeah, no.
gonna be
Here's
desperate.
the thing: one of them is out of our league, but I think there is a remote chance it is possible.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you want to disclose
kind-
who that is right now, or do you want
I'll discuss that later. But
Okay.
Alright, I think it is about time we get onto the topics, though.
That is true.
Fun small talk, though. I actually I enjoy the small talk segments. This is one of my favorite ones, though.
Good talk, man.
Good talk. Good talk.
good
Mike.
game, Percy.
Alright, yeah! So, pick some numbers, fellas.
3.
I was actually going to say that. I'll take number 2.
If it's 3, Dylan is just psychic and
Poggers.
steals Logan's
He's a god.
numbers.
Poggers.
Poggers. Alright, I'm spinning the wheel.
I fucking
It
hate you.
is number 2.
Holy shit.
Ah!
All right, so I was wanting this to be the long topic, but I figured the longer I wait, the better chance that I'll forget to say some things that I want to say. So, fellas, how do you feel about slice of life?
Like shows and movies and whatnot.
Yeah, slice of life, just the genre.
I enjoy it. I need to watch and get into more stuff of that variety, really, but I like the idea. It's a lot more calming than like the lesser high stakes. Like the highest stake you have is like a little bit of drama. That's it's relaxing, I guess, at the end of the day.
Right. Okay. What about you, Dylan? How do you feel about slice of life shows?
I guess I don't really watch a ton of them, but I mean they're fine.
Okay. Well, the reason I bring that up is because the best friend I mentioned earlier that I built the PC for, she got me to watch this anime with her called Fruits Basket. And on the surface, it looks very, I'm going to sound very evolved here, girly. But it ended up turning into a very, very exciting TV show for me. So it starts out, this girl named Toru Honda. She's homeless. She's a hobo. She's in high school, but she's a hobo. Her grandfather has Alzheimer's, and both of her parents are fucking dead. Because no one can have a good childhood in anime.
No, never.
And she's going to school one day, and it's just sort of a normal day for her. And eventually a landslides happen, and it just takes out her freaking tent. She ends up meeting a couple of one guy who goes to her school named by the name of Soma. It's a family name, and he decides to take her in. Him and his friend, his roommate, they decide to take her in. Why am I blanking on the guy's name? I'm blanking on his name. I can't believe. Anyway, so they take. I know it was Shigure, and then there was the other one. Yuki, that was his name. Yuki, Soma, and Shigure. They take her in because, they're like, this little girl is like living out in the freaking rain with a pole tent. This is stupid. So she ends up staying with them, and, in true guy-to-guy fashion, the place is a shithole. Like, there's trash everywhere, there's dirty dishes, there's a sock on the door. So she ends up cleaning the shit out of their house, and they decide, you know what? I think we could get used to this. So they help her dig up her tent and all her belongings. They move her in, and she stays with them for pretty much the entire series. And she ends up meeting more of their family, because the Soma family is like this huge family that spans an entire estate. There's like hundreds upon hundreds of Somas. But the ones she met are special because she accidentally wraps her arms around one, and the dude turns into a rat.
A rat?
Dude's a mouse. Dude, literally a rat. So it turns out that a little sort of like a bedtime story her mom used to tell her. That's how the show opens. It turns out that bedtime story was true. It's like in the beginning, God created all these animals, and they had a banquet together. So it turns out that little bedtime story of hers was true. So Yuki is the rat, Shigure is the dog, and throughout the series, she slowly but surely meets the rest of the Soma family and the special 13, I think it was, that were all animals. And it sort of starts out a little quirky TV shows, like, oh, we got to keep this secret while also dealing with the wonders of high school life, and there's like a supposed love triangle because there's a cat named Kyo. He comes into the main cast really, really quick. So there's kind of like they set up a love triangle between Yuki, Kyo, and Toru, the girl. That gets dropped relatively quickly by the end of the first season. And then it turns into something else entirely. It turns into the closest thing I had ever seen to an actual Final Fantasy video game storyline in a TV show. I was freaking out, and I don't want to spoil things, so that's why I'm actually kind of glad this is the short topic, because I don't want to spoil it entirely. But when you learn more about the Somas, and you learn about the animals and their curse, and you learn just more about each Soma, you really start to realize this place is fucked up, and this family is not normal for more reasons than just turning into animals. In fact, the whole animal thing, by the end of the series, it's like, oh yeah, that was right, they turn into animals. It's pretty insane. And there were some things I didn't like that I can't get into without spoilers, but it was a very exciting show. And one of my favorite moments was when we met Kurono, is his name. He has red hair. He's a big, tall fella. Kurono is kind of isolated from most of the rest of the Somas, even more than Kyo, the cat. This guy's just straight up away from everyone. No one really knows him very well. He meets one of Toru's best friends from high school, just a normal human girl. And he pulls the sickest curve on her I've ever seen in my life. They're about to kiss, and then he just walks off. He just full on spins on his heel and walks away. And I looked over at my best friend who was watching with me, And I looked her straight in the eyes. I paused the show. I think I even paused the show. I looked at her. I was like, this man has the biggest cock of any fictional character ever. Because holy shit. I was going on a tirade of how smooth he was. And she got a huge laugh out of it. I didn't think it was that funny. I was just, playing it up because I was a shit. And lo and behold, 5 episodes later, Kurano is revealed to be the Rooster.
He is a cock.
So, he is a cock. But yeah, big recommend. If you have Funimation, or by the time this goes up, it may not even exist anymore. If you have Crunchyroll, when they eventually assimilate into one another.
They become the Funimation roll.
No, it's just going to be Crunchyroll. If you have Crunchyroll or Funimation, if it's still alive by the time this goes up, I heavily recommend watching it. I want to go into more about it, but I can't really do that without spoilers. And I don't want to ruin the show for other people who may be listening. But it was such a weird 180. Like through, once you got about like halfway through the first season, which wasn't very long, it was only about 20 episodes. Like, and it was good, it started out really strong. But once you get about halfway through the first season, there's like a paradigm shift, and it only gets even crazier as the show goes on. And it's just one of those shows that'll tug on your heartstrings while also just somehow manages to be really, really entertaining. Yeah, big recommend. But have you, a reason I bring it up, I guess, to bring this into a more broader topic, because I know you guys probably have nothing to say on this matter.
Yeah, not really. I'm gonna be honest.
I was gonna ask, have you ever watched or played anything that completely like flipped your expectations? Like, did you go into something thinking one thing, and then it just went completely off the rails into something completely different?
Off the top of my head, I guess the best thing I can compare to would probably be this indie game that I really love that's getting a physical release soon, Amori. It started out as this really cute Earthbound-inspired RPG type of game. It's like, oh, this is really cool. I like this. All of a sudden, the game's fucking horrifying. Like, and I knew it was going to make that shift eventually, because even in the tags on Steam, it says it's a psychological horror. So I was like, okay, I guess it'll try to spook me a little bit every now and again. And it literally made a shift to where I was, like, anxiety-ridden and paranoid for, like, almost the entire fucking game, because it was just so in the back of your fucking mind, all that was happening. And it went from just this silly little game about these kids going on an adventure to find their lost friend to eventually, oh my god, life is pain. Like, it is so fucking mind-bending. And it's so good. God, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that console release.
Yeah, because you're a prick and won't play the game on anything else for over 2 years.
I'm a horrible friend. I'm a horrible person. Even though the game's only been out for 1 year, you're right. I'm a horrible human being, and I should leave the podcast.
No, I mean,
I should leave.
I mean, no, it's fine, but it is just annoying. I've got you trying to play the game.
Take over it.
What, the hostile?
You can't leave the pod. We have to take it.
But
over.
he's right. But he's right though. I'm a bad person, and only good people do hostile takeovers, Dylan.
I am living proof that is incorrect.
What hostile takeover have you done?
I mean, I'm in the middle of this one. I have a couple ones planned.
Well, that's why you're gonna fail, because you're not a good person.
God.
Accurate.
Jesus.
That is accurate.
Oof.
I do it with love.
What? Bully me?
So,
for love.
No, I say it with love. I love you, Dylan. The silence.
God, he doesn't know how to react to it.
He just slowly backs away from his mic.
I'm socially inept, and I'm not good in situations where I have to express feelings. So,
I mean, you just say cool. You don't. Yeah, there you go.
Pog.
That's exactly how I expected you to answer that. But yeah, Nathan, I think you would really like Fruits Basket. I can't speak for Dylan because, like he said, he's not really a slice of life person, or at least he doesn't have a lot of experience with it. But it has the voice cast is amazing. Laura Bailey voices the main character Toru, and a lot of it's from the original Fruits Basket series that was out in the early 2000s. Although that one, I believe, ended way too early and wasn't as close to the manga as this one is, because this one came out in like 2019 or so it was a really recent show. But it's got the usual suspects from Funimation. Like, it's got Christopher Sabat, it's got Justin Cook. I love Christopher Sabat's character because he plays Yuki's brother, who's a very, 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 very flamboyant man, and I find him hilarious. Let's see, Justin Cook, and there was another one, but I can't recall who it was. But anyway, all-star cast. Seriously recommend. Also, I love you, Nathan.
No.
And I love you, listener. I love all of you.
Subscribe.
Look,
there's too much love. That's not what this is about.
To every here, I can round it off. To everyone here, including the audience, I'm indifferent.
And then Nathan just fucking hates everyone.
And then I say a slur.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
All right. Hostile takeover. Get the guns.
No, I'm locked in my closet and you can't get me.
You know for a fact I could kill you, Nathan, you would be able, I could kill you before the hour recording would be up on this podcast. If y'all just kept going, I muted, went to your house, I would have you dead before the recording of this podcast ended.
I mean yeah, you got 40 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes away from Nathan, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard of a feat, probably.
I mean, no.
Not really, no.
No.
You're a large target,
Nathan, you are by far, I think, the easiest person to murder outright in our friend group.
You shouldn't tell people that. Now, well, I mean, we don't have an audience at the moment, but oh well.
I mean, I feel like every friend group, especially if they're guys, because, boys will be boys, I feel like that everyone has this discussion.
Now, for what it's worth,
who's the easiest to murder?
No, for what it's worth.
Who would most likely die?
For what it's worth, Nathan is the easiest to murder, but he would be the hardest to fight in one-on-one unarmed combat. So he has that going for him.
Well, anyone will be difficult for me to fight in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, you admittedly are at a disadvantage there, but you are one of the harder people to outright kill. So
you got
it's
a lot
like
of
a
contingencies.
ratio.
I mean, I appreciate the compliment, I think.
I mean, I think I'd rather be easier to have my ass beaten, but harder to kill. Because then that means it's a more difficult problem to fully get rid of.
I mean, that brings up a good question then, Dylan. Would you rather fist fight me or gonna do a shootout with Logan?
Fist fight you. Because I know Logan's accurate enough to fucking kill me, and I know you're strong enough to probably beat my ass. But like you said, I have contingencies like Batman. Nathan, in the 5 years I've known you, I've analyzed things. I first of all, I'm going to fight dirty. I'm not gonna go for clean strikes. And I've identified some key weak points that I would exploit to the maximum level possible.
I enjoy your wording, Dylan. You've analyzed things. You've been probing Nathan for a long time. It's one day I'll know how to kill him.
The long con.
You're looking for weaknesses.
I feel like by senior year of high school, I had a pretty good dossier of how I would have to fight Nathan if it ever came to that. Which is good that I have that, I guess, because it's never going to happen. Ironically, when I had the least amount of information for the dossier was the closest me and Nathan would have ever come in history to fighting, which was freshman year. Freshman year, I would have died. Senior year, I think my chances were a decent bit better. Plus, in senior year, I was taller and, less chubby.
I mean, me and Nathan have had a slight joking, mind you, for the NSA listening. It was a joking conversation. It was who would have an easier time killing whose family? And I told him, I could take out your family with my eyes closed.
Yeah,
because
it would definitely be Nate's family.
It's not that Nathan's family is weak or anything. It's just more of the matter of they have no sense of safety at all because their door is never fucking locked.
Yeah.
Even when they're not expecting me. I went to Nathan's house just on a whim. They didn't know I was coming. Nathan was at work. Actually, no, he was hanging out with you that day. Because it was the day I dropped off my PS3 cord for your mic. Because you didn't have a cord for your microphone. And I just come in, and Mark and Amy are just chilling. I'm like, hey. And they turn around. I was like, oh, hi, Logan. I was like, what's up?
Yeah.
I was is Nathan not home? Because, I saw his truck was gone. It was like, yeah, he's hanging out somewhere. I was like, okay, I just brought this over. I threw it in his room. It was like, let him know I brought that. He's like, okay, bye, Logan. It's I could have easily walked in there and murdered both of his parents.
Yeah, I mean, they trust you not to do that, you psychopath.
Because I would never do that, Nathan. It's
allegedly.
Jesus Christ.
Allegedly.
No, out of the three of us, I'm the least likely to murder anyone. I can just tell you that. I don't care what you guys think. I'm the least likely to murder anyone.
I agree with that statement.
Dylan,
and I know who
is mental.
I know who is top and who is mid. Because Nathan doesn't have murderous intent, but he likes arson, not actually.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Nathan, you would do it on purpose, yes, because you're mental, and then Nathan would do it by accident.
Yeah, you see, Nathan would 100% accidentally burn down a building with people. It's like I would go before that judge, look him in the eye, and be like, yeah, nah, I did that shit.
I did that. Yeah, what of it?
Yeah, but I my first instinct is never to harm others, no matter what state I'm in. My first instinct is like, man, I suck.
That's not my first instinct, but it's up there.
It's one of those things where, like, yeah, I can joke about it, but it's like I would never realistically attack anyone. Like, I don't really have violence in me. I have anger issues on occasion. I mean, Nathan can attest to that. I get really fucking angry at some dumb shit, but I'm not. I know my place. Like, I know simply because of my physical appearance and just, I guess, how I was raised. I don't have a very violent temperament.
I'm not super violent. Like, for the most part, I try to be like a caring individual and stuff. But there comes a point where once I've gone over that hill, I ain't coming back.
Like Batman.
Yeah.
Like Batman.
Dylan, this is very topical considering what we've been talking about with you the last couple of days, Dylan.
Yeah.
The masculine urge to do steroids and work out literally 24/7 and dedicate your body to being a tool of vengeance.
A tool of vengeance.
Get bulked up like Ben Affleck did for BVS. Do it.
I think I
get really depressed and go on smoking breaks outside again.
I think based off of my natural build, if I did steroids, I could be a pretty big dude. I just don't want to.
Let's be real, though. We all felt like Ben Affleck taking a smoke break after this weekend.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of moments where my exact emotions are just Ben Affleck taking a smoke break. Do yourself a favor, audience. Look up pictures of Ben Affleck smoking, and you'll just see a man who is a soulless husk. And I relate to
this.
This is a certified Ben Affleck smoking outside moment.
Jesus
yes,
Christ.
Look up that picture and then go do something else with your time on the internet, because clearly you're too young to be listening to this if you don't know what that image is already.
That's also true. Yeah, you really should listen. If you are listening to this podcast and have never seen Ben Affleck smoking, you really should not be listening to us talk about which one of us are more open to murder or not.
Yeah.
I would like to be clear, NSA, none of us are open to murder.
Allegedly.
It's just a fun joke between boys.
The
boys will be boys.
Allegedly. Boys will be murderers.
Boys will be boys.
The boys will kill.
I'm not no, not necessarily. But
the boys are back in town.
The boys.
I definitely think. I don't want to harp on this topic for too much longer. It just did remind me, like, one of the main reasons why I feel more confident being able to fight you in a fist fight, Nathan, versus in a shootout with Logan, besides the fact that one is lethal and the other is non-lethal, really just comes from the few times we've sparred, because I bought, like, mixed martial arts, like padding and shit, and me and Nathan have fought with training weapons and shit, and just even though he's got more reach and, like, power and stuff, like, I didn't get absolutely steamrolled. At one point, Nathan actually fell, and then I just fucking ground pounded his ass.
And then I started yelling, he's touching me, as his neighbors got home.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I've never spoken to those neighbors either, so they just saw two grown men in the backyard fighting, and then one of them falls, the other gets on top of him, and he's like, he's touching me. Nathan instinctively closed his legs. It's like, there's some unresolved trauma there.
I mean,
you gotta protect your balls, man.
You gotta protect everything, you know?
It wasn't even but it was less of a, like, it was not the movement that you do to protect your balls. It was the movement to stop anything going in that area.
Yeah, to protect your balls, man.
I mean, also, yeah.
It looked like the
my
maneuver.
butthole's precious.
It looked like the maneuver a freaking would do.
God.
Oh my god. Oh whoa.
That
Cut that.
Whoa.
I might actually cut that. Holy shit.
Cut that. That's got to get cut.
That's a little heavy.
That was an Always Sunny in Philadelphia moment right there.
All right, I'm gonna leave in the conversation of us saying to cut that, but I'm gonna cut the actual content so people are gonna know what we're talking about.
If you're familiar enough with Sunny, you might pick up on the joke.
Yeah. All right. Actually,
it doesn't take much imagination to think about closing legs. Anyway, I was actually gonna mention how the whole touching me thing. I accidentally kind of did that to someone from college while we were in a drive-thru.
Oh no.
I don't think anyone really looked, but I just kind of got carried away with the joke because we were laughing so hard, and It was my friend was driving us to a McDonald's, grab some food after class. And I just sort of said, he's touching my butt! And the window was down, and I'm pretty sure that the people in front of us heard it because they were getting their food. So, there's a good chance the McDonald's workers heard us too.
That's pretty
He's
funny.
pulling his cock out?
Honestly.
Yeah, I said it pretty loud too.
Honestly, when you were talking about like you were the friend is like he's touching me thing, but for some reason I just my head thought of the joke. It's like, fellas, don't you hate it when you're in the drive-thru with your friend and you try to like change gears with the stick shift, but you grab your homie Schmeat.
It's like, hey, bro, why it hard?
If I knew how to drive stick, sure.
If I knew how to drive the dick shift, yeah.
Have any of you guys driven with a stick shift?
No.
I have, and it's not fun. I mean, it's not like it's horrible. It's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be, but I wouldn't want to, given the option.
Look, I will say this as a fat guy. I hate walking, but I would rather walk than drive a stick shift.
Yeah, same here. I actually had to move because my dad has a 97 Jeep, and it's a stick, and I had to move
but you're
one
not
day to
fat.
get out. I'm not walking to town. I'm about to name drop another one. I'm not walking to town, Dylan. That's like 3-hour walk.
I know. I'm just saying. The only difference is that you don't like walking, but you are not fat.
I mean, and I didn't say I didn't like walking. I just don't want to walk for 3 hours.
That's fair.
You got places to be.
Yeah, it's like I gotta get.
That's why you
I live
gotta
out in the
power
sticks,
walk.
man. Like, you live near town. You could theoretically walk and get somewhere within a timely manner without having to drive a stick. I couldn't.
That is true.
All right, fellas.
All I'll say is there's a fast food place that is within walking distance, like 20 minutes.
Is it McDonald's?
It might be Burger King. We gotta throw off the audience.
That could be a Chipotle. Who knows?
Maybe it's fucking Qdoba, or
It's an In-N-Out burger.
maybe it's
Jack in
Five
the Box?
Guys. Maybe it's
I had
Whataburger.
Jack in the Box.
Whatever.
Actually, In-N-Out. I don't think we have In-N-Out or Whataburger on the East Coast.
No.
Well, fuck. Now we've doxed which coast we're on.
No,
that
we've already
narrows
done
it
that.
down
That's
so
already happened.
much.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's already
sure
happened.
people could probably tell
know.
quite easily just from the way we talk and our personalities that we're on the East Coast. That was not hard.
Or did I say that to throw them off even further?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we lived in the East Coast and now we moved to the West Coast.
I am currently
vice versa.
broadcasting from a secure bunker in Russia with Vladimir Putin.
Oh, Putin boy.
Top
Hey, yo, my man just shotgunned a glass bottle of vodka. How does that even work?
Dude's just put down a whole handle of vodka. What the fuck? All right, fellas. So I think we kind of forgot there's supposed to be a second topic.
Oh, we got time.
We got
Yeah,
time.
we're like
won't be as
only
long
on
as usual.
halfway recording.
The small talk went on for a while. That's all it was.
All right, okay.
We can
All right,
always
so
do
that
two
means-
long topics, like...
Yeah.
All right, so that means I'm number 1, Dylan's number 2 then, so I'm going to spin the wheel
No,
again.
I'm number
3.
3.
Well, me, no,
I
well,
was number 2.
well, how the hell am I supposed to do it? It's number 1 anyway, so it's me.
Boo!
Either way. Fuck you!
Yeah, well, I fucked your mom.
I mean, if it's
No!
1 through 3, you just keep it at 1 through 3 and keep spinning if it lands on 2. Spin it again.
I don't want to keep spinning if it keeps landing on fucking 2.
Oh, your life is so hard.
It's not that hard to change
Wee.
a person from number 3 down to number 2.
yeah, it's not
moving
that
one
hard to just
number.
roll again.
It. All right, so my topic is this picture called the monster. No,
Oh, God.
I'm actually.
Oh my! Don't you even?
No, I'm actually gonna do one of my real topics because okay, so for the audience that have zero context to this, we have a Discord channel where we store all of our topics so we can remember them for later use. We kind of just shit posted in there for a couple seconds.
It was earlier. Genuine pod topics. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh boy.
What genuine pod topic gets to me posting an image of that scene with Patrick being a giant ball of bubblegum, but he's painted white, so it's the monster.
What you can
How do we
turn
get to
into
that?
loaves? What can you make into loaves besides meat? And I gave a poignant answer.
I feel like the monster is kind of an excessive jump there, Nathan. I mean, just because he's white, I mean, he could have very well been flour.
He could have been the vanilla ice cream monster.
I mean,
You're fucking racist.
how am I racist? How is there like racial tension between vanilla ice cream monster and monsters?
They're both white.
They've been at war for centuries. Nathan, both people's goal is to be swallowed. And they've always competed.
Who's out here swallowing flour?
Who's out here swallowing vanilla ice cream?
Yeah, you'd be licking
you're
the
talking
vanilla
about
ice cream.
I mean, you swallow it.
I mean, you
off your
could lick.
tongue, I think.
Oh God.
Okay,
All
just
right,
do your
let's
topic.
Just
This is
cut
ridiculous.
this. Just cut
Just
this.
stop.
Throw this
Just
podcast
stop.
in the trash.
Audience, I swear, oh my god.
This episode
We're
was
actually
supposed to be
we
better
are
than
this deprived.
yesterday's.
We are this deprived. It's true.
This shit
We
fucking
went
sucks.
from I could definitely murder XYZ to hey fellas the monster. Like God, we're better than this. I know we're better
Please
than
move
this.
on. Can we just move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
I don't need to get depressed right now, man. Not while we're recording.
Why does
No,
the monster
no.
make you depressed?
Just move on to your topic!
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Because I am a monster!
Of
Yes!
God damn you! I was just about to take a drink. Thank God I didn't.
It would have been a horrible idea for sure. Okay, so the actual topic that I'm going to be discussing is we're more or less the younger generation, not the youngest generation, but we're definitely of the younger variety, right, fellas? We're the younger people of the world.
We're the
at
newest
moment.
generation that actually has some kind of.
We're old enough to remember old Cartoon Network, but young enough to not have been alive for 9/11, or we were literally 3 months old.
Babies.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was a
So we're in our early 20s. Dylan's 19, which is basically early 20s, I say.
I'm about to turn 20 in like just a few months. Like I'm closer to 20 than I am 19.
Yeah, so we're in our early 20s. We're like adults going into the world and actually being integrated into society.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah, but a huge part of that is the advancements of the world, the advancements in technology, the advancements on the way people do things, the advancements on the normal, the standard code of how the world works and who does what.
We have technology.
Yes. So, it's a very general question, and I want you to take whatever spin you want on it. What part of that moving on to the future technology-wise, the way things are done, anything like that, do you just not really jive with? Basically, what I'm trying to say here is what part of the future, or going forward into the future, are you fighting against?
Digital releases.
Social media.
Not even digital releases per se. I agree with the social media part to an extent because I feel like people have a little too much free will on the internet.
Yeah.
Just partially joking, but I'm also not. I do not like the move to streaming absolutely everything. Like the requirement that we need an internet connection to literally enjoy anything anymore.
Yeah.
Because it feels like that's where it's going. Now, I don't want to make it out like I'm against the idea. I believe it's fine as an option because most people stream movies and TV now, and I do too. If I have the convenience of streaming it and I'm mooching off someone's subscription on anything, then I'll do that. That's fine with me. Like I watched all of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Hulu. Didn't have to buy the DVDs. I'm happy about that. But if you were to ask me, is like, do I think that we should just cut out physical media altogether? No, absolutely not. Especially in the case where video games are involved. So I am very anti cloud gaming. I'm very anti Google Stadia. I don't like that shit. Mostly because in the area I live in, or at least my entire state, really, our entire state, the internet infrastructure here is nowhere near built for that sort of thing. And nothing pisses me off more than having to use the internet to play a video game by myself. Like if I want to play Final Fantasy VII or Super Mario World, I should not need an internet connection to do that. I'm fine with digital media. I am not fine with streaming media with video games.
The ability,
movies, I can take it or leave it.
The ability to not own your games and just have like temporary leases and such on them, I am not a big fan of, and especially as a person.
Taken away.
Especially as a person who really loves physical media, just in general, because I'm like, I don't even know how you describe it. I like collecting things. I just like having a collection that I can just look upon and be like, yes, this is mine. So I have a pretty big physical media, like, game collection, and I have a lot of, like, manga and stuff like that, and I like looking at it on the shelves and stuff. I like having that, because I like collecting stuff. I'm kind of a collector type of person. So the idea that people want to completely phase out physical media, I am definitely super against. Like, the whole entire idea that there's an Xbox Series X and a PS5 that have no disc port is fucking ridiculous.
I'm not a big fan of that at all. Again, as an option, it is fine, but to me, it's a little scary when people, because I've seen people say this, on the internet. So this leads into Dylan's point about social media. I've seen people talk about like, yes, now we don't have to worry about buying these anymore. It's like, why? Why take that away from people? People still like to have physical things. I know we've moved on from like buying CD albums for music and stuff. Like, that's not really viable anymore because people just don't do that shit. The option is still there. I still see album releases on CDs and shit, and vinyl made a comeback. I'm sure cassettes are going to make a comeback at some point. The option should always be there, I think, because people have preferences, and if they're going to pay the money to get it, then let them pay the money to get it. You can charge more for a physical release. I don't care. I'll pay the extra $10.
Yeah, I just want a physical edition of a game or something like that. And even outside of the realm of games, I like having physical editions of like TV and movies. I like having movies just on my desk or whatever, or like in my shelves or my collections of stuff. I like having that. Now, granted, the biggest thing that I would probably buy is like Blu-ray sets of like anime and shit, but that's too fucking expensive for so much stuff. I don't know why, but I would like to do that. I like having that. And especially, dude, for me, it's good for me because I have horrible internet. So like when I stream shit, I stream it like really low quality and it fucking sucks. So I like having physical stuff for that.
Yeah, and there are places in our state that don't even have proper internet like I do. Like Nathan, for example, his internet is just dog shit. So with everyone wanting to move to the digital age by just streaming everything with internet infrastructure, because we don't have the internet infrastructure to do that. Not in the United States, anyway. No. Some places can, just not here. And even if we did, I still wouldn't want it, because if the second it goes down, I can't do anything. What am I supposed to do? Go outside and play basketball? I don't want to do that. I want to play my video game.
Fucking sucks. I'm sorry,
especially
basketball people. I'm sorry, basketball.
Oh, I mean, basketball's cool. It's just I don't want to play basketball by myself. No one wants to hang out with me, so I want to play my video games. Like I just don't like the idea. Maybe it'll never go that direction. Maybe I'm just being overly paranoid. Again, the option's cool because there's lots of people out there. Like, and it's convenient because, like, think about like how cheap subscription services are comparatively to like, oh, if I just pay what is it, like $9 a month to have Hulu with the ads and maybe like $12 to have it without the ads. People have that, and then they don't have to go out of their way to buy movies and TV shows. Or Funimation is like $6 a month. That's so much cheaper than, like Nathan brought up, expensive Blu-ray releases of anime. You can watch all that anime without having to pay more than $6 a month. That's an amazing deal. You should do that instead of buying all the physical media. Having the option. That's all it is for me. Like Nathan said, you're a collector. You want to have it on your shelf so you can watch it without internet. You can take it over to a friend's house or whatever, so you don't have to constantly enter in information. Just convenient small things like that. It has its place, and I don't want to have to keep up with all that. I don't want to do all that digital crap. Not entirely. Purchasing digital games is one thing. Purchasing digital movies is another thing. That's fine. I've slowly eased up on my physical only release for games because there's sometimes it's just not an option, or it's just the price difference. Like I bought what was it, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for like $5 on the PlayStation Store. That shit would have been $20 if I got a disc. Of course I'd paid for only $5 for it. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
I usually prefer to get the disc.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter much these days because it's all downloaded onto the system anyway when you put the disc in, but still, the idea. The principle of the thing, you could say.
Digital media for games is also very important for the indie world because making physical editions of games is super fucking expensive and hard to do. So for like a lot of indie games that want to, like indie developers and such that want to get their games out there, it's probably only viable for them to go digital. It's all about just the ownership aspect of it. I really fucking hate streaming games because you don't own it. That's the biggest gripe for me when it comes to that.
Thankfully, I think some people are pushing back against it because of like, just to be topical on it, Kingdom Hearts just released a bunch of, pretty much the entire series on Switch, Nintendo Switch. And it's cloud streaming. And it works It works, but it's not ideal. I know I've seen a bunch of streamers and stuff like who have really good internet, and they live in states like, states that have really good internet infrastructure, like I guess New York would be an example. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't really know if New York even has that great of internet infrastructure, but they live in better states than we do, basically, and it's still pretty prone to lag. And if I have to play Kingdom Hearts 2 with lag, you bet your ass someone's gonna get their ass beat. I'm gonna be upset. I don't like that. What about you, Dylan? You haven't really said anything thus far. I feel like you should give your take.
I mean, I just don't really have as much of a take. Like, I agree, like, streaming games and shit is dumb because you don't own it. Like, digital, like, owning digital or disc, I don't really care much about. I mean, I definitely understand, like, the cause for concern where sometimes digital ownerships, again, has the same problem with streaming where, like, that can be revoked and stuff. But, I mean, I think both have a place. It just depends. Some things I get digital, some things I'll get physical. It just depends on the game, the genre, like Logan said, the price, things like that.
Yeah. The digital side of things was more so I've seen games get taken away. Like a game someone actually had owned. I believe it was Final Fantasy IX on Steam. They fucked up an update and they just couldn't play the game anymore. For like a day. But still, the idea that can happen is a no-no for me. Where's the disc?
Where's the fucking disc? So is there anything else that you guys can put your finger on whenever it comes to future advancements that you don't like much?
Oh, right. That's what this topic was about.
Right.
Yeah. And we're not just talking about streaming games.
Our impending doom. Also
heavy.
social media, Dylan? Social media?
So...
Was that an offhanded comment? Is that real?
No, that's real.
All right, go ahead.
Here's the thing. I recognize the utility of social media. Like, being able to have communication with anyone around the world instantaneously is a really amazing feat. The problem is we have fucked up using said feat of technology horrendously. And I think how it will affect the future as well is also concerning, because we grew up we grew up like as the digital age really start taking off. But by the time like social media had really gained a lot of traction, we were like in middle school or early high school. That was like when everything, like everyone had an Instagram, everyone had Snapchat and stuff. And at that point, we at least were, not straight up children with phones, with Snapchat and stuff. So like we had time to adjust normally as kids and like grow with the technology. But now, you have kids now who are like 4 or 5 years old and they just have an iPad, have an iPhone, and like have social media and stuff. And I feel like it has a bad influence because social media, like a lot of people use it to like put up a facade that their life is so much better than yours when it isn't. Like you have to remind yourself when you're looking through an Instagram story, it's like, oh, this person's having so much fun. So it's like, those are curated pictures of like the best of the best that they took of one fun event. Like that's not what every single day of their life is like. And if you fail to keep that in the back of your mind, I feel like, then you compare your life to theirs and stuff, and you get envy, you get jealous, and I think it has adverse effects on your mental health. So I really am just worried with how prevalent social media has become, especially with kids who were born into that. I worry about how that will affect them in the future.
I can agree to an extent because I got a nephew and he spends all his time on a damn iPad and I don't really care for that. But I'm conflicted on the whole. I know I agree 100%. Social media can have a huge negative impact on someone's mental health. This is just me personally. I think it really comes down to the person, because if it's really upsetting you, if you're not enjoying your time on social media, and it's something you can customize to what you see, if you don't like something, you just unfollow it, block it, remove it from your timeline. If that's not good enough and you're still not enjoying it, then just don't use it. Like, because you don't use social media, Dylan, really. No. Because of that, you made that decision. It's like, I'm not going to use this because it brings me no joy. If anything, it is ruining my joy.
And that's the thing, is like, I agree. Like, it's not, there is an easy solution to the problem at first, where it's like, you can customize what you see on social media, and if you just outright don't like it, don't use it. But like I said, what I worry about is like kids where it's what they have known their entire lives. Like, they're born into that, so they may not, like... Because, like, a 5-year-old's not going to necessarily have the critical thinking when he sees some, like, YouTuber kid who plays with toys all the time and stuff and is, like, a millionaire. A 5-year-old's not going to have the critical thinking. It's like, well, why don't I have those mad toys? It's like, oh, I'm not a millionaire. They'll just be like, I want those fucking toys, man. Like...
Yeah, little Timmy's going to be like, oh, I can't get the new Mario game for my Switch because we have to buy food this week.
Yeah.
Nah.
Oof.
It does give a really fucked up expectation and view on what the world around us is and what's really going on. I feel like it warps that a little bit in many ways. And a big issue I have with the idea of, like, well, if you don't like social media, then just don't use it. Dylan has a good point at the fact of how the big impression it makes on kids and, like, the younger generation coming up, because I feel like that dips into the idea of, like, peer pressure and what people expect of you, what you have to do. So it's like, okay, if you don't like social media, then don't use it. But then you get into a situation where everyone's, being an ass to you. Is like, oh, you don't fucking use social media just because you're a little prick, you're a crybaby. You just don't like to see how the world really is. It's like, no, this social media is fucked up and warps your sense of reality. That's why I don't like using it. But I feel like younger people and kids don't really get that, especially going into, like, middle school and high school, where shit like that is really prevalent and gets really fucked up, and people won't let you just live your fucking life. It gets really hard to do that without just getting bullied or just messed with on a level that's just really intolerable. So I feel like it's a really bad social issue, and it has, like, some stigmas to it that make it kind of hard to avoid. So I think that has a really adverse effect on the younger people, and heck, even older people who are still affected by peer pressure this day really badly. You can fuck with them too.
See, and that's an excellent point. And and let's be honest here. Kids are bitches. They're gonna do things out of peer pressure because they're gonna be overly emotional about things because they don't understand. They're growing up. Their brains haven't developed like
bitches.
Completely understandable. My thing is, okay, if a young kid like between the ages of like 5 to 10, around that age, if kids are if he's having trouble with social media, my first question is like, what the hell are his parents doing, or his or her parents doing? A kid that young shouldn't be on the internet to begin with, really. Without some serious supervision.
I agree.
I know that kids are born into it, and I know these things are becoming more prevalent, because, again, I just mentioned my nephew, who's 5, uses an iPad and watches train videos all day.
And
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I definitely agree. Like, kids need to have much more supervision growing up on the internet than they do.
That's how my parents kept me in line with the internet. If I pulled up something on YouTube and someone said something they weren't supposed to, my mom's like, all right, that's enough computer, go do something else. You can't just leave your kid alone with the internet. I know it's easier now because kids have phones and shit. Don't give them phones. Don't give them phones and iPads. There's parental controls for a reason. Put a time lock of an hour or 2 hours or something. 2 hours, because 1 hour you can't do shit. 2 hours at least, and give them time limits, and then make them go do something else. Make them go outside and play with the dog or something. Make them play with their actual toys. Limit them. I will always fall back on the parents. I know parenting is hard. I'm not a parent, but if I see that, like, oh, my kid just spends all their time on their damn phone, it's like, okay, who bought them that phone?
Yeah.
You did. Do something about it. Be a fucking parent.
I don't think I got my first smartphone until I was like 15.
13.
Mine
I got
was
a
like
phone and it was... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was like at 16 or something when I got my first smartphone.
Which I think was better for us in the long run.
Probably.
And you know what else? To just doubly add to that, I only had calling and texting. I couldn't do anything else. I had no internet. That was, I think, very important.
I was just thinking, it's like kids who are born into the digital age and stuff, their parents give them an iPhone, then they just don't think anything of it because they're bad parents and don't monitor their internet. Like, my parents, to a degree, monitored my internet usage, but then, even still, like, back when I was in late middle school, the Reddit 50/50 challenge came about, and literally, there were 3 things that showed up in the Reddit 50/50 challenge. Cute animals, porn, gore. And I saw a lot of all 3 of those things in middle school and stuff. Because, like, no one stopped me. Now, it didn't fuck me up that bad, but, like, that's the thing is kids are going to be exposed to that younger and younger.
I agree.
Something that I am really not a big fan of is the idea of, oh, it's the digital age. Kids should be able to know how to use this stuff, and then they should be able to experiment and figure out what they want to do. I don't like the idea of just because it's the fucking digital age that we should just be completely allowed to give kids, like, a bunch of advanced technology and just go explore the internet, which I honestly, as much as I enjoy the internet and how it is basically going to be integrated into my person and my job at some point or another. Heck, if this becomes big enough to become profitable, this will be a huge part of it, and this is just internet shit too. Like, it's important for me. I get it, but to be 100% honest with you, like, fucking 70% of the internet is not okay for, like, anyone under the age of, like, 15. So I feel like it's not a good fucking excuse just to be like, hey, it's the digital age, so we should give the kids all this random advanced bullshit so they could get into that. It's like, no! Like, wait till they're a bit older and they can understand things a bit better and also have a very, very good grasp of what exactly the internet is and how it works. It's really fucking ridiculous that our fucking, like, leaders of the country, congressmen and whatnot, have no idea how the internet and phones work. It's like, this is the goddamn digital age, you should know that! God.
There was a case in California, I believe, in the early 2010s. I think it was only a couple years ago. It wasn't that long ago. And there was confidential information they were trying to extract from like a terrorist's computer or something. Don't quote me on any of this. You can find it if you look hard enough on your own because you have the internet because you're listening to this shit.
Yeah.
So you can find. They told him they need to remove the data from the computer itself. What they couldn't explain to the judge was if you turn off that the memory, the data they're looking for was on the RAM. And for those who don't know, the RAM is temporary memory. If the computer loses power, at any point, everything on the RAM is erased. It's gone. They could not explain to him is like, if we either A, remove the RAM, or B, turn it off, it's not going to be there. They could not get that through that guy's head. Eventually, they settled on the case, and they managed to, I believe it ended well, I think. I don't know. But it's like, that went on, I think, for like half a year or something. Because they just couldn't get him to him or her, I don't know, the judge and shit, to understand. Now, I think it would be smart to have computer classes and stuff by default in our education system. Because it's going to be so ingrained to our lives, because it's inevitable. It's fine to have, computers and stuff, teaching kids how to type, how to surf the internet, but limited. You can limit how and what how they access things, where they access, and what they can access. I just think that more people who live in the world now, like our teachers and such, or just, people like Nathan said, people who are leading our country and who are making the legislations and all that, we just need better education on all this stuff so we can teach the future generation to be even better with it, That way we don't have people overly reliant on the internet, but they also know how to use it when the time comes. Because you have to use a computer if you're working a job at any job now,
Yeah, I kind of feel like an old man almost, and I'm only 20, but I feel like people put too much, stock and put way too much fucking, trust and all that bullshit into the internet in the digital age whenever I feel like it's way too much.
I agree.
People are even getting to the point in the modern day and age where they're putting millions and millions of dollars and investment into shit like Bitcoin and NFTs and shit, and it's such horseshit. Don't fucking do that. It's a scam. What's so wrong with traditional currency and money and the economy? Why does that have to go digital too?
Because Nathan.
Granted, the economy's in shambles and fucking sucks right now, but I feel like it's still more reliable to have, actual real currency and actual backups like the gold reserves to that currency than just, making up if something actually has value or not. It's fucking ridiculous.
Okay, but Nathan, hear me out. Would you rather have a piece of paper with Benjamin Franklin on it or the ugliest drawing of a monkey you've ever seen in your entire life?
I'll take the monkey every day.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous, and it's a scam. It's an unregulated market. I see unregulated. I see the word scam. That's just how it is for me. At least.
It's going to be regulated eventually, and then it'll have no use. But
then people won't like it anymore. Exactly.
But here, I had to, someone came in, so I don't know what Dylan said, so I'm sorry if I just repeat what he said. So the reason people get into that is a much deeper issue, I feel. I think some people do it out of, almost a desperation attempt when it comes to the digital currency stuff. Because of how the world is right now. And, I'm not going to get too topical, but, like, the economy it's a mess. People are having a hard time making money and making ends meet, and it's only getting worse and worse with inflation and all that bull crap. And I feel like people are like, okay, this is a chance, but I could potentially make a lot of money off of this. And so they do that. Now, I'm not going to defend that action as in, okay, it's right. No, it's still wrong. You're still wrong for doing it. You're ruining the planet with your crypto mining. But I can understand that someone gets into a desperate situation. They're going to make very rash decisions. So I know why people are getting into it, besides them just being but I understand, like, reasonable people why they would get into it. Still don't like it, though.
No.
Also, monkey drawings.
So, yeah, the idea of the podcast is to never get too political, but I guess that is kind of what you dive into when you're talking about the future and what you're going into. And I feel like we're not super divisive in anything we're saying. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are going to disagree with our protests against cryptocurrency and NFTs, but I don't give a shit. There's some things that are just so wrong that I don't care if you know that I don't like it.
I would argue it's not even political. I just say it's something so ingrained in everyday life now that if we didn't talk about it, we'd be pretty fucking ignorant.
Yeah, we would just be
or at least appear so.
Yeah.
It's not political.
Also,
it's just part
like,
of life.
if any NFT bros get mad at us, it's like, dude, it's a white dude, 3 white dudes who are mentally ill shitting podcast. Like, I really don't know what you expect from us.
I don't know
about that last one. I don't know about
that last one literally, like, showed up in conversation like 4 times in the span of like 2 minutes earlier.
I believe that was cut that.
Nah, leave it in. Raw.
Leave it all in.
Nah, it should be cut.
There's no way this episode's ever going to get monetized if we even come close to that.
It's what the people deserve.
Add censor bleeps to the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Oh, well. So, thank you everybody so much for watching or listening. Whatever you're, dealing
Maybe
with.
I mean, yeah, if
you're
you just look
at the image
maybe
on
you're
YouTube.
just staring intently. Why you would
who
do
the
that,
hell
I
knows?
don't
Look at
know.
that! Look at that headset.
Look at that! Look at that smile! Look at that small little gap in his teeth there. It's such a good attention to detail.
That is 3 ugly white dudes. God, I love this podcast.
Hey, look, Logan looks hot in that image.
That's true.
I do.
We all look pretty good, actually. The artist that we commissioned did a really
He
good
did
job.
make us look a lot better than we actually look.
Yeah, the artist that we hired, Appropriate Elk, on Reddit. We have a link to his Reddit page. Or them.
It's a pinned tweet on Twitter.
I should probably not assume pronouns. I feel like an asshole. Yeah, but you should definitely check them out. They are really cool and they were super nice to work with, for sure.
Yeah, Appropriate Elk 95 on Reddit. You are amazing if you are listening, and thank you so much.
And they make you look a lot hotter than you are in real life. So,
for anyone that makes me look hotter than I really am, I can always give them big ups for sure.
I applaud you, good friend. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So you can find any of us on Twitter. Again, there is the Twitter page, the official Twitter account for our podcast. That is Bloomfeld Pod at Twitter.
At Bloomfeld Pod.
Yeah, at Bloomfeld Pod. Sorry, fuck. And if you want to find us individually, the best way to do that is to just look at the people that the podcast itself is following. Or if you just want straight up ads, they'll be in the About Us, there'll be About Me little page on the channel. But if you want to know here, I am at 78B on Twitter. Logan is at LoganTheKid on Twitter. And Dylan is at Montlarius on Twitter.
And you can always find me on twitch.tv/LoganTheKid, same as my Twitter handle.
Also true. He has 10 followers now, so he's a big deal.
You can always find me wrestling with rats for cheese behind the dumpsters of a Denny's.
Make that 11.
11? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Poggers.
Aforementioned best friend finally followed me.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
After half a year of streaming. That's real friendship right there. It's like, bro, I didn't even know you. It's like I knew you were streaming and I just didn't.
I just didn't follow you. I just got lazy.
God bless her.
Well, thank you all for listening to our random bullshit. So I hope you have a nice day or night. Goodbye.
Bye.
Another successful episode.
Yes,
I think.
Very stuff. We said a lot, so I think it's pretty good.
Goodbye, beautiful people.